Welcome back, Alley Cats. And if you're not an Alley Cat, subscribe, become one. Join our kitty litter. I'm going with it. No one said anything, no one's stopping me, so I'm going with it. Kitty litter. Like this video, turn on the notifications so you know when I post. I post every Friday, but sometimes it changes. Share this with your friends and family so they can become Alley Cats too. And let's just get into this video. Today's video is all about how I became a vegetarian and how I've stayed vegetarian for 15 years. Over 15 years. It's like, God, I'm old. I literally can't go one video without something on my teeth. I swear. Why? So with most storytelling, you start from the beginning. So I guess I'll start from the beginning. I grew up a meat eater, and with all of my family, meat eaters. I live in the Midwest and never knew a vegetarian growing up until I moved out of my small town. Like, I didn't know another vegetarian. I first wanted to become a vegetarian when I was 11 years old. Let's get into that story. So who remembers watching Nick at Night growing up? Anyone else? I feel like some people watching this will be like old enough to have watched the shows originally and not the reruns. And then other people watching will be like George Lopez. I bring this up because when I first wanted to be a vegetarian, I was 11 and I saw an episode of Roseanne. On this episode of Roseanne, for anyone who knows the show, the character Darlene was a vegetarian. There was an episode where her family started making loose meat sandwiches. She wanted to protest the restaurant because she didn't agree with the whole process, the cows being killed for the meat. Before this, I never really thought about where my meat came from. Like, not at all, honestly. I feel like most people, we eat what we grow up with and don't question it that much. It's just our normal, you know? Watching this episode of Roseanne, I was kind of struck in the face with the fact that hamburger, it came from killing cows. And that was kind of the first time that I put it together. And I just want to say real quick, I don't judge anyone. I'm not on here and making this video to preach to anyone to become a vegetarian or vegan. I'm not going to attack your way of eating. If you eat meat, if you eat pescatarian, you eat fish, whatever it is, I don't care. I am not judgmental. I don't care, honestly. I'm not going to attack you for it, and I would want the same respect, obviously. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm watching this episode of Roseanne, and she's protesting, these cows being killed. I think to myself, wait a minute. What's happening? What? They're hurting an animal? No. I'm a huge animal lover. I always have been since I was little. My mom's a huge animal lover. She was. And she grew up like instilling that compassion and empathy for all creatures. So when I found out about the cows, I was like, no. And I went to my mom and I was like, I don't want to eat cows. Darlene said she's vegetarian, so I want to be vegetarian. I feel like most people believed that being a vegetarian was going to be extremely expensive, and it can be, but it doesn't have to be. But especially like 15 years ago, we're in like this small town Midwest and we're poor. So my mom's like, no, that's too expensive. I can't feed you differently than I'm feeding your brother and myself. Looking back, I understand. And I even took it fairly well, I guess, at that point. I understood because we didn't have a lot of money. We had to get food from churches and stuff, or we just wouldn't have food in the house. I won't go into all that, but it was kind of put on hold. My mom said, when you're older, when we're in a better position and we can afford it, then you can become a vegetarian. I was like, all right, I guess I'm waiting then. Growing up, even when I was little, I wouldn't really focus on the meats in my meal. I would push meat out of a meal. Say it was like lasagna with meat in it. I would usually just push the meat away, not even thinking about it, just wanting more of the pasta and cheese, honestly. Like, my grandma used to make me a specific pot of chili when I was young and not a vegetarian that was only beans, because I freaking loved beans, still love beans. And she would make it for me separate because, like, I was sitting there and pushing all the hamburger off of my chili and eating just the beans. So she was like, okay, this is a waste. No. I can go on with other examples, but like, I would push meat away almost always without even thinking about it ethically or anything. I wasn't really like a massive like, ooh, meat eater. I was just, Okay, so let's move forward then. So now I'm 15 years old. We're in a new place. We had moved out of our trailer, and my mom had met someone and married them, and he became my stepdad, and now there was 2 incomes coming in, and we were in a better place. So I came back up to her at 15, and I'm like, okay, well, you said when I was older and we were in a better place and had more money that I could become a vegetarian. So I want to become a vegetarian. And she was like, yep, I did say that. But I went through with it and I became vegetarian. This was pretty freshly into 15. So I decided to do this by weaning myself off of meat. I thought that if I just stopped eating meat, period, like just stopped cold turkey, no pun intended, that I would freak out and like want to eat all the meat, And I'll go kind of deeper into how you can, if you're interested in becoming a vegetarian, how you can become one and what I did. I'll go into more of that in another video. Yeah, I weaned myself off of meat. I did it within a month, and then I was completely done, and I went for 2 weeks. 2 weeks with no meat in my system. Tell me why I'm in the car with my mom, and suddenly I have this urge, this overwhelming craving for a double cheeseburger. A double one. Not a single one, a double cheeseburger. And it's uncontrollable. Like, suddenly, I need that burger to live, to breathe. It was a crazy craving. I knew that as we were driving, that McDonald's and Burger King were like coming straight up ahead on the road. And I'm like, Mom, I need a burger. Please, I need a burger right now. McDonald's, it's like right there. Mom, no, don't argue. Please, I need it. And she was like, oh, you don't want to ruin what you're doing. You've gotten it out of your system, And I'm like, no. I need it back in my system right now. So she's like, all right, I mean, if you really want to do this. So she pulled into McDonald's, got me a double cheeseburger. I ate it. And it was like sex in my mouth. Which sounds really dirty, actually. It was like heaven. It tasted amazing in that moment. It's kind of like crack or something, because I needed more after that. Every day, almost, for a week, I talked my mom into getting me a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger, double cheeseburger, bacon double cheeseburger, whatever it was. Like, that was what I wanted, like, every single day. It was horrible. I don't know if you can guess this, but eating a cheeseburger every day makes you really sick. My whole body felt like a slug. I looked like a slug. After that whole week of relapse and eating double cheeseburgers, I was like, okay, nope, never mind. I hate this. Hate how this feels. I got it out of my system. I don't need it anymore. Now I'm a vegetarian. Ever since then, I have not had any weird, crazy craving relapse. Like, has not happened again. So moving on. I kind of touched on this in my weight loss video. I'll link it down below so you guys can check that out. But I did talk about how being vegetarian affected my weight. So if you want to know more about that, you can watch that video. Watch my other videos, please. But it did affect my weight. 15 years ago, it was more difficult. I'll be honest. And especially when I didn't know how to eat properly, healthily, period. As a meat eater or a vegetarian, I didn't know how to eat a balanced, healthy meal. I didn't know what to replace the meat with in my meals. And I wanted to be comforted by the thought that every time I ate with my family, that I was eating what they were eating, but a vegetarian version of it. So that's what I did. But back then, the meat substitutes, they weren't really around. There were a few, but there were very few, at least in my area, in my city. I remember like Boca Burgers, a couple different fake chicken products, I think. Like, it was slim pickings, honestly. But then as I move forward and I'm in my early 20s, everyone made fun of me and called me the vegetarian that hates vegetables. Because I really didn't eat vegetables. I ate the typical ones that picky eaters tend to eat, like potatoes or corn. But green vegetables? Oh, no. I liked broccoli, but only cold. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to touch on holidays, because I feel like a lot of people think about like, oh, but what about the holidays? The turkey and the ham and, That was difficult at first, especially since my grandma's cooking was amazing. Walking in every holiday and smelling all the smells, the turkey and ham still smacked me across the face with how good they smelled. Like, of course, I ate meat for 15 years, so yes, when I smelled the ham walking in, instant, like, saliva built up in my mouth. I was just strong, I guess, like, strong-willed and didn't give into it. I did what most vegetarians tend to do in these situations. You either bring your own main, usually your own, like, main course, or if you're not doing that, then you're only eating sides. And that's really what I did. So bringing you up closer to present day, in 2018, I decided I wanted to go vegan. Finally, after so many years, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go vegan. For all those years, I didn't go vegan because of purely selfish reasons of loving cheese. I'll be honest, just weak, selfish reasons of loving cheese. Having tried a couple vegan substitutes way back when, being scarred from the experience of how those tasted, it was very difficult for me to give dairy up. But yes, in 2018, I decided to give all of that up, become vegan. I was already watching out for byproducts. I already wasn't wearing leather or anything like that. I never stopped using yeast, though. Sorry, little guys. And I did this for 9 months. And I believe what broke me was cheese. Of course. At 9 months, I believe it was a night where Steve and I were exhausted. We had a long day. We didn't have time to make dinner. We were just like freaking annoyed. Like, we were just like, I just want food in front of me right now. I don't want to make it. It was like one of those days. And we don't eat out a lot. We have a Little Caesars like right next to us. So that's what broke me. It was Little Caesars having pizza. When I had that cow's milk cheese on a pizza again, oh boy. I mostly eat vegan, but I don't call myself that. I call myself plant-based now. Throughout the day, I eat plant-based. I try and eat whole foods. If I'm having cheese, I still will substitute it with vegan cheese most of the time. But if we go out to eat, I'm vegetarian again. But it's in extreme moderation at this point. I still drink almond milk. I have different substitutes, dairy substitutes. So throughout pretty much every day, I'm living as a vegan, but in moderation, I'm still having cow's milk dairy. You know? So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm trying to, back into being full-on vegan. Another thing that I definitely want to address is people thinking that just because I'm vegetarian, I'm instantly judging them. I already said this earlier in the video, but I'm not. I always get that where, like, if I'm eating out with friends or family, they'll pick up their piece of meat and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm eating this in front of you. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care. Damn it. Why don't you know I don't care? Like, it gets so annoying. I'm getting like, ugh. So, like, friends and family, if you're watching this, like, don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to be afraid. Steve eats meat in front of me every day. Every single day. I don't care. I still kiss him. Like, we use the same pans, obviously clean. But, like, still, like, I just don't care. I'm very relaxed. And that's just how I am. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for me to be this way. I'm just saying, like, that's how I am, so I just don't care. And I feel like there are plenty of vegetarians out there that are the same as me and just don't give a shit. Like, you eat your meat. I'm over here thinking about my food. You don't really have to point it out so much. I feel like that's something that happens all the time to me, is no matter what. Like, for a while, I was known for being vegetarian. I don't want to be known for how I eat in any way. Like, I don't want to always walk into a room and then the topic of vegetarianism just is brought up, not by me, but by someone else. It almost feels like I have to explain myself again. I don't want to keep doing that. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I never bring up the fact that I'm vegetarian. Even though I'm making a video about it, I usually don't bring up the fact. A friend or family or whoever will bring it up for me. Or just bring it up, like, not for me, but they bring it up. I guess it's on their minds or something. I'm not quite sure. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I am. Oh, how do I get my protein? You don't have to bring it up that your friend, your cousin is now a vegetarian, like, whoever. Like, it doesn't need to be brought up every time you see them. Like, that's not who they are. That's just what they eat. Oh, hey, Mike here. He eats steak sometimes. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Oh. How do you get your micronutrients? Oh, no one does that to you as a meat eater. Like, no one does that to the average Joe, you know what I mean? So why are they doing it to vegetarians and vegans? Like, it's just, don't. That's how I've been a vegetarian and stayed one for 15 years. If you guys have questions that I didn't think of that meat eaters have for vegetarians, please let me know. Ask in the comments below. Type out your questions, I'll compile them, and I'll make it into a vegetarian Q&A. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see this face in whatever hair color I might have next again, then please join the kitty litter, become an alley cat. Subscribe, hit that like button, please turn on the notification bell so you know when I post. I post every Friday, for the most part. And share this video with your friends and family so that they can become alley cats too. Thank you guys for watching, and I love you. If you're a meat eater, if you're a pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian, I don't care. I love you anyways. Bye guys.